Right, I'm back again. I want to discuss these couple of icons down the bottom. If we have looked at the bottom right hand side, we see a make inactive and make inactive, and view inactive entries. What that basically is for is this. Let's use this person as an example. This person here has been mowing or doing lawn mowing jobs for this particular guy, this particular lady. Now, right now, for some reason, Anne and Ian have decided they're not going to use me for their lawn mowing anymore. They've started doing it themselves. They loved my job, but they no longer can afford me, and they've decided to go it on their own for a while, because Anne's work has been cut back a bit. So she can afford to get out there, and she does a bit herself. So they're not using me anymore. Now, I might not want to see that particular client in my address book anymore. If he stands in my face all the time, he's getting in the way. When I'm looking for stuff, I don't want to see him. Now, because I've already created invoices for them, and I've got other entries in the system, I might not want to delete them. And in some cases, the system, Easy As, isn't going to let you delete them anyway, because there's certain entries in the system. So what I can do with this is, I can make them inactive. To make a client inactive, you have to switch on the Make Inactive icon. The first thing you must do is click this icon here. If I click this icon, if you notice here, where these two icons on the screen, you can go to your accounts payable or go to accounts receivables from the address book as well. Works similar to this here, but it's a bit different. It does, whereas if you click the invoice icon, it creates the invoice for the client with the address, with the name. Here it doesn't do that. That just allows you another way of switching out of the address book to your accounts payable or accounts receivable. We try to give you an ability to switch around and get around the program pretty easily without having to go back to the main menu all the time. So that's just an avenue here to switch backwards and forwards. Make inactive. Let's say, for example, I am going to make... Where's that client gone? I lost him. Oh, here. This particular client here that I was talking about earlier, I now want to make them inactive. To make them inactive, I've first got to turn on the inactive icon. If you have a look here, we see what happens. When I turn the Make Inactive, see that disappears there? We've now got a Mark Inactive icon coming up. So what that means is any individual now that I mark inactive, if I click this right now, this particular person here, which has got nothing anyway, that's going to be inactive. Click it, it's now marked inactive. Now, if I find these other people, and I'll show you, I'm going to mark them as inactive. Now, you have to switch this back off when you do that, but the good thing about this is if you exit the screen and come back in, that's going to disappear. The only times you're going to be using that is if you're wanting to mark a person inactive. You have to turn it on, mark them inactive, and switch it off. So you can turn them on, mark inactive, get out of the screen, come back in, and it's reset anyway. But if you want to switch it back on and off, it's just a matter of clicking that icon. It's switching it on and off anyway, okay? But by default, it's always off. Now, let's say for some reason, those particular clients that came back to me and said, oh, you know, my work's picked up, or I've tried to do this for a month, it sucks, I prefer to pay you. It's easier paying you to come and mow my lawn than for me to try to get out there and do it myself. So I'd rather pay you for your service. So now I want to turn them back on. You know, it could be even 6 months down the road, couldn't it? So I can't find them now. If I try to search for this client, I won't be able to see them in here. They're not going to come up. And we'll see we've only got 9 records here, because a minute ago I made 2 records inactive. If I click the View Inactive screen, it's going to allow me to see clients in my system that are actually marked inactive. And I can make them reactivate these clients now if I want to. You'll see it's got a screen that can go back over here if you need to see their full details. So I'm going to reactivate this particular client now. That's it. They're reactivated. So now if I jump out of here and I go back to the main screen, I've now got 10 records there. And that's my other computer there. So now if you look here, we now have 10 records on the main screen. So now if I go along here, and there's the client back again. So that's how you mark a client inactive or inactive. Okay, I'm going to speed up because I'm losing some time here. If you have a look down the bottom here, we can import and export address books. To export an address book, you simply click export. This will export your information from your address book, all of your information, okay? If I just click export, I'm just going to let it export there where it is. Obviously I have the program called Excel on this machine, and you see it's exported all of my address book in an Excel sheet. So if you have Excel and you want to export your information out of EasyAs, you can do so. Just click export and it's going to export all that for you. Okay, and you can do something else with it if you need be. And import has a similar facility where you can actually import an address book from some other program that you've exported from. It has to be in a certain criteria, and if you go to the website you will see the criteria that is set up for importing of an address book. Okay, basically what happens is I'm pretty certain that the export is the same as the import. So see how this is set up with the contact person in the first column? I'm pretty certain that when you import a table into the program, it wants the first column to be for your contact person, the second column to be for line 1, line 2, etc., etc. I think that's the order it wants to see them in, and wants to see headings. But look, go to the website, there is information on that, how to import information into EasyAs. Now the only areas you can actually import into EasyAs is the address book and the product list. You can export out of here though, and you can export from a lot of areas of EasyAs. You can export information in the program into spreadsheets if you want to. Okay, the only other final thing I want to show you from this screen is the letters. You can actually create a very quick letter for certain clients, and if I click view here, I get to see any letters I've previously written to this client. It's just a very simple process. It allows you, what EasyAs have done, they've put this in here to allow you a quick method of writing simple letters to clients. Let's say this lawn mowing guy, for example, he wants to send a quick cheerio to everyone at Christmas time, and he wants to give them a quick 20% off if they get their lawn mowing done from him leading up to Christmas. So he gets an opportunity to create a very small letter and to send it to everyone. But in this case, if I select view letters from this screen, I only get an opportunity to create one letter for this client. Okay, you see it coming up and resting? I get the chance to collect for that client only. However, if I wanted to create a letter for multiple clients, the best thing to do is go back to the main screen and print the letters from here. Now I can create a letter, and I'm going to go through the letter on another video, guys, but I just want to show you what happens there. I can create a letter now, and I can select all clients, or I can select one of those groups I did before. See that? My barbecue settings group, according to the address book. So now this works on the address book, this screen. I can send a letter to, sorry, I wanted lawn mowing. I can send that Christmas letter now to all the lawn mowing people. I can create a new letter. So I create a new letter. I put in the details here. I select all clients, and I can print, and it will print. I print to my printer. It will print out a letter addressed to each individual client. And when it does print, it saves that letter then against the client. So when you go back to your address book later on, you say, well, I want to see the letters I've previously written to this client. If I click view letters, then it will show me the individual letters that I've previously written to this client. So if you're chasing someone who owes you money, you can obviously use this to record different letters you send out, every month when you're chasing money or something like that. Okay, I think that explains the address book screen.